the game.
Hi, I'm Kelsa Dickey, the CEO of the Financial Coach Academy and my financial coaching business, Fiscal Fitness Phoenix. My coaching journey began more than a decade ago with me helping people for free from my dining room table. What was once a little business of mine has grown into a 7-figure company that employs a team of people. My goal is simple, to help you fall more and more in love with financial coaching. I believe financial coaching is the most rewarding way to make a living. If you are an aspiring financial coach or have been coaching for years, I'm here to help you create a business you love that gets your clients massive results. Let's get to it.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for tuning in. Last episode, we explored becoming a financial coach and what coaching entails. We reviewed what does financial coaching look like. So for that information, check out episode 85. Today, we are going to talk about how to get started. We'll discuss the type of education or certification you need, the business side of financial coaching, growing a business once you're up and running. Then we'll review a coaching methodology for you to use and the various forms of support for your journey. So let's go. Let me start by saying, you do not need to have specialized training or fancy certifications to start your financial coaching business. There is no requirement for this. You can help someone today. I have no doubt about that. One thing I want you to think about is that the things that you will most likely be talking with your clients about is likely taught in high school in financial literacy classes today, right now. When you first get started, you're probably talking about budgeting, debt management, and savings goals. We're helping our clients get organized so they can see their finances more clearly. These are all things that today are beginning to get taught in financial literacy classes throughout the United States, which is a great thing. But for most adults, those classes weren't offered when they were in high school, and that is where we come in as financial coaches, helping them take knowledge that exists out there in the world and apply it to their situation. As a result, you don't need specialized training or certifications, but you do need to have a desire to learn and grow and to be able to apply what you know about personal finances to your client's needs. And when your client introduces a new need, one you don't have knowledge around or experience with, well, that's when you go about learning it. That's when the support that you have around you, something I'm going to explore more in depth in just a little bit in this episode, is most meaningful. The best thing to focus on then are application techniques. Check out the series that I did that starts with episode 69. In that series, I share a coaching methods cheat sheet, and I do deep dives into the financial knowledge that you need to get started. To get started, though, you have to own what you know now and begin talking about it in a way that helps people. The biggest delay to a financial coach getting started is consuming too much information. Most financial coaches I talk with want to do this work because they have a desire to help people. So you've got to start by helping people. There are two sides to financial coaching, the actual coaching piece and then everything else. Last week, I shared my journey, how I started by sitting at my kitchen table, talking with people about what they had going on and figuring out how I could help. Over the years of helping people, I grew as a financial coach and I grew as an entrepreneur too. Running a business wasn't something I knew a lot about when I first started, but over the years, I've learned to love it. As I learned how to do some of the business things, I didn't give up until I found a way of doing it that worked and that I really enjoyed. That's exactly what I help my clients with when it comes to managing their money too, finding a way that works and that they enjoy. And it's what I help you do in the Financial Coach Academy, to become a financial coach and launch a business that you love. There's a lot you need to think about when it comes to starting your own business. So let's explore some of those now. They include managing your finances, setting up business bank accounts, determining pricing structures, whether it's hourly, package, or program-based, maybe it's a retainer, creating a business budget, managing your own cash flow, taking a paycheck. We've got a whole series of episodes about those things as well. Planning for business expenses and future investments. Securing initial funding if needed. Initial funding can be you saving money for business expenses that you might incur before you get paying clients, right? So when I talk about initial funding, I'm not necessarily talking about from big investors or anything like that. I just mean that you probably want to try and give yourself a little bit of a runway. Another element of running a business is paying taxes. Registering your business with the appropriate authorities, understanding tax obligations such as income tax and self-employment tax, keeping accurate financial records and what that looks like, setting aside money for quarterly estimated tax payments if you need to make them, and then the idea of possibly considering hiring a tax professional or accountant and what types of questions you should be asking them. For help managing your business finances, check out episode 62 where I do a deep dive on this topic. Marketing your services is another important element to running a financial coaching business, which means defining your target market and ideal client, creating a brand identity, things like logo, color, messaging, developing a website and social media presence, content marketing, blog posts, videos, or maybe a podcast, networking, and building partnerships. You might also consider paid advertising, so social media ads or Google ads. You might want to leverage email marketing, something that I personally really enjoy. And you might want to ask for and think about how you can manage client testimonials and referrals. All of those become a key focus for marketing your business. Another key component is having sales calls. Super important. Sales can be really intimidating when you first start. So it's important to think of sales as simply articulating the value of what you offer and the results that you help people achieve, and then inviting people to work with you to gain those results. But it looks like creating a sales process for yourself, developing a discovery call script that works for you and sounds like you and feels really good to you, learning to identify client needs and pain points so that you can speak to those, crafting your unique value proposition, handling objections, following up with prospects who showed interest, closing deals, and even properly onboarding new clients are all part of the sales process. Another part of running a successful business is developing structure and systems. Unless you are looking for investors, which most of us are not, you don't really need a traditional business plan. What you need, though, is a steady system for identifying where do I stand and what parts of my business are a priority for me to focus on. That is the process that I want you to create inside of your business. I also want you to establish policies and procedures because you are running a business and businesses need those. That includes things like setting up client onboarding and offboarding processes, developing coaching session structures or content and materials, creating templates for common documents, contracts, worksheets, those types of things, implementing project management tools that you can stay organized, and then setting up a customer relationship management system or a CRM. There's also an element of administrative work, which looks like client follow-up and communication, booking and managing appointments, invoicing and payment processing, and then record keeping and data management. Next up is technology and tools. You really want to make sure that you choose the right tech stack for your business. I'm going to be releasing an episode in about 2 weeks where I really dive into some of the tech tools and systems and where to get started. But we're talking about video conferencing software, or things like Zoom, scheduling tools like Acuity, which is the one that we use, Acuity, financial planning software if you want to use something like an app or a software, document sharing and storage, things like Google Drive or Dropbox, and then password management tools as well. But you also want to evaluate and implement new tools as needed. AI, of course, how can you incorporate that into your business now that it's new? And balancing tech needs with budget constraints. There's also some legal considerations that you want to make when you're launching and running a financial coaching business. You have to choose a business structure. Do you want to be a sole proprietor, an LLC? You also might need to obtain some necessary licenses and permits. You might also need to create client contracts and agreements and have those reviewed by an attorney. Understanding and adhering to any industry regulations, which there are very few because coaching isn't a highly regulated industry, but there are some specific investment advice areas that if you want to provide that type of stuff to your clients, you probably should just go get licensed. You can hear more about those guardrails specifically in episode 79 of this podcast. You might also need to be considering professional liability insurance. Running a small business also means that at some point, you're probably thinking about scaling and growing, which is really good, right? So that is the next element that I want to mention. You'll probably also want to allocate some time to your own professional development. I am still learning and growing till this day. When you have a business, you'll want to focus on work-life balance as well, which includes setting boundaries between work and personal life, managing your time effectively, preventing burnout and taking care of yourself, and building a support network of other entrepreneurs. That last part of having a financial coaching business that I want to make you aware of is actually where you start. You start by gaining experience. Maybe that is through pro bono work or beta clients or helping your family and friends. I started my business at my kitchen table, helping my own family and friends. Eventually, I branched out to clients I didn't already know, but the way I coached all those years ago looks a heck of a lot different from how I coach today. In business, when it comes to gaining experience, your focus should be, what is the next step I need to gain experience with? Just the next step. That's the only question you're asking. There is so much that you don't need to know when you are first starting, and you don't need to know it until you need to know it. So just focus on the next step right in front of you and ask yourself, how can I go about gaining experience in that way? And then go make it happen. This might seem a little overwhelming, but here's the good news. The Financial Coach Academy helps you tackle each and every one of these elements that I mentioned. Every one. That is why the Academy coaches are able to launch so quickly and successfully, because it speeds up the learning curve for each of these key elements of having a business and getting started as a financial coach. Once you're up and running, like I said, growth is hopefully next. Scaling and growing is another key component of having a business. The Ultimate Growth Guide for Financial Coaches is where I share everything you need to know about growing, how to have conversations with your clients that are up-leveled, right? How to leverage your quick audits to sign more clients and make those conversations go more smoothly. How to onboard new clients with a lot of really beautiful touch points. What happens when a client completes a coaching program? How do you offboard them successfully so that they continue to refer more clients to you, and much more. You can find those in the Ultimate Growth Guide for Financial Coaches. Like I said, where you start is just where you start. The Ultimate Growth Guide provides the critical pieces that you'll want to finesse or refine once you have your solid foundation in place. You can access that by going to financialcoachacademy.com/ultimate growth guide. Some other aspects of scaling and growing, though, that you probably want to pay attention to are possibly developing additional revenue streams. Does that look like group coaching, courses, books? It could also look like hiring and managing staff, contractors, or more coaches to your team. It might look like expanding service offerings. Another part of growing and scaling is considering the types of partnerships and collaborations that you're saying yes to, and looking for bigger and better ones at all times. And then planning for long-term business sustainability. Could you do this work for a really long time? And if not, what do you need to change about the way you're doing it so that the answer is yes? Those are really important skills to hone when you have a financial coaching business. The most important part of every business is actually delivering value to our clients. Doing what you say you're going to do. Following through on your brand promise. In other words, as a financial coach, the results that my clients gain from coaching are my priority. Results could look like small progress or less stress and worry. Results can look like a total transformation. Results can look like financial gains. And results can look like an improved mental or emotional relationship with money. Most of us get into financial coaching because it's work that actually helps people. So our focus when we start, as we grow, and every step in between should be on proving that we are consistently capable of getting our clients results. So that's why it's important to adopt a specific coaching method or a coaching framework that you can follow in order to ensure continuity of care with your clients. And a framework that you can use that helps you to help the client realize results both routinely and regularly, right? So I invite you to adopt my EAC financial coaching method, which is education, application, and commitment. Let's talk about that now. This 3-step framework is the secret sauce to effective financial coaching. I've talked about this as it relates to client work. You can hear that in episode 17. But we can also apply this framework to the work that we do as coaches. So let's break that down. First is the education phase. You can explore that in episodes 69, 70, and 71. As a financial coach, you're committing to continual learning and growing about your practice and how you can better serve your clients as time goes on. As you do this, you're also going to gain more confidence. You don't necessarily have to have a certification in accounting or finance or even coaching, but you do need to continuously educate yourself on best practices and how to coach versus consult, how to coach versus diagnose, how to coach versus advise, and how to coach versus teach. How to have a client-centric business model that also provides you what you need. These are really important distinctions. Sometimes we need to learn something new or gain more knowledge, just like our clients, and other times it's not about knowing enough, but this is sometimes where we start. So the second phase then is the application phase. This is where the rubber meets the road, where you apply what you learn in your coaching sessions and when you make business decisions. Because every financial coaching business is different and every coach is different, you're going to find what works for someone else may not necessarily work for you. When applying what you know in your coaching work, remember that your goal is to help clients apply concepts to their specific situation, take action, acknowledge both the intended and unintended consequences, and help them to learn by doing, that they need to take action to learn as well. When reflecting on a coaching session, I want you to think about, how did that exercise feel to deliver? What did you notice about the conversation with the client? What worked well, and what will you do differently next time? Each one of those steps that we use in the EAC coaching framework also applies to you in your business. That means you're both embodying the model, but you're also using it with your clients. You are leading by example, coach, the best type of leadership there is. We don't just learn by consuming information, right? We don't just learn by reading books. We learn by doing too. We learn by taking action. So the application phase is really about learning as well. And once we've completed the education phase, and the application phase, we move on to the final stage, which is the commitment phase of the EAC framework. This is where you, as the coach, continue to commit to your financial coaching business and where we help the client commit to a path forward. This is where we get laser focused on a goal we're aiming to achieve. And while our how might change along the way as we continue to learn, and apply, we stay committed to the outcome. We practice all of the skills and key elements I shared in this episode and the last one, and we strengthen those skills as we go. As we work to achieve the outcome that we committed to, we ask for help when we need it. We ask for encouragement when we need it, and support and accountability from our peers and fellow coaches. Just like our clients achieve their goals faster when they receive the support of us, their coach, you will achieve your goals faster when you receive support as well. So let's talk about the importance of support as a financial coach. I believe that one of the most important parts of becoming a financial coach is doing it with others. When I first started, I felt like I was the only one. You'll often hear me say that I felt like I was on an island by myself with no other financial coaches to look to for success or proof of concept. Since I started, I feel like I had a different take on financial coaching compared to what I was seeing around me. So I had to build my own community. When it comes to your community, I would recommend building a network of other coaches, finding mentors, and getting personal support on your journey. This is where my Facebook group, Financial Coaches Unite, comes in, as well as the Financial Coach Academy. It's why I host retreats and have a mastermind specifically for other financial coaches. And frankly, it's why I have this podcast too. They're all designed to help you no matter where you are in your financial coaching business journey. Thank you for being a part of my community, coach. Sharing this work with you is the icing on the cake for me. So thank you. I have a few closing thoughts for this episode. More than anything, I hope you feel encouraged to explore this path. It is such a rewarding profession. I get to talk with wonderful, good, hardworking, and decent people every day, and I get to help them achieve their goals. I can see the immediate impact of my work with someone and all the ways that those quick wins snowball into bigger and greater wins and long-term positive changes as well. As a financial coach, I help people pay off debt and put and keep money in savings, sometimes for the first time ever in their life. But more than that, I help people dream again, something that I am convinced most everyday people are not doing anymore, which makes me really sad. I help people see themselves differently. I help people believe in their own potential. I help people identify what they want for their life. And then together, we work to answer the question, how might I go about achieving that? What is the best way for me? For those listening who are excited about becoming a financial coach and getting started with this work too, I hope this episode helps you to see how you might go about achieving that for yourself. I am here and would love to support you on your journey. If you have any questions, I hope you will reach out to me. You can email me or you can go to financialcoachacademy.com/podcast. And at the bottom, there's a spot where you can connect with me and ask questions that way as well. You can join our monthly community virtual calls as well. I would love to have you by going to financialcoachacademy.com/subscribe. And we send out the details each month via email. I also hope that you will share with others who might be interested in becoming financial coaches because this journey is a heck of a lot more fun when you do it with others. Next episode, I have a guest with an expertise in running a business when you have ADHD. Whether you are diagnosed ADHD, know someone who has ADHD, or maybe you don't know much about it at all, you will want to tune in to this conversation. It will be insightful, and my guest will be sharing some very practical strategies for embracing ADHD as an entrepreneur. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast or to the YouTube channel so that you don't miss out. And if you liked this episode, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. I'll see you next week, Coach. I believe financial coaching is the best and most rewarding way to make a living. I truly love what I do. If you're ready to learn and see how to become a profitable, successful financial coach, check us out at financialcoachacademy.com to learn more about our online courses, free trainings, and events. As always, I love hearing from you. If you have any questions for the FCA podcast or to share your thoughts on the reflection question from today's episode, go to financialcoachacademy.com/podcast. And if you love this podcast, hit the thumbs up button on today's episode, subscribe, and leave us a rating or review on Apple Podcasts. It would mean the world to me. I'll see you next week, Coach.